All right, gonna try something here, something that a setup here at the computer that I've been thinking about, and now that I'm going to be moving, that will be a good test here. So let's get this going, and we'll talk about how my stroke occurred and where I'm at now. All right, April 2nd, 2024, 8 days before my 61st birthday, I woke up not feeling well. The stroke occurred during my sleep. Okay, I had an ischemic stroke, which means versus a hemorrhagic stroke, where the ischemic stroke is just a blockage of blood flow, whereas a hemorrhage stroke is a burst of a vessel. I got up about 6 o'clock in the morning, and about 6:30, I had called a buddy, and he drove me into the emergency room. My blood pressure upon arrival at the emergency room was 250 over like 150. I was not feeling very well. The left side was dead. No real activity in my left arm. My vision was okay. While I had some deadness on the left-hand side, I had a feeling on the left-hand side. They put me in for a CAT scan. They didn't find anything. They put me in for another one, and they found the blockage in my brain, and yeah, I had had a stroke. They gave me some drugs to stabilize my blood pressure, and then admitted me into the hospital, which I stayed for a total of 2 weeks. The medications they were giving me to lower my blood pressure took about a week to really take hold. I was consistently over 170 over, say, 80 in the blood pressure readings, and then one day suddenly it dropped down to 150 and stayed there. I was as low as 130. My average was about 130 to 140, and then when I got out of the hospital, it had dropped down to close to normal, and I have hit 120 over 70 a couple times, which is pretty damn close to normal. As I mentioned, when I was in the hospital, Story County Medical Center here in Nevada, Iowa, the whole crew there, the doctors, the nurses, the patient care technicians, they were great. It's a very small hospital. I think they have less than 20 beds, and I think that smallness helped with the status of my quality of care. There was only like about 12 to 17 residents, if you will, when I was in Story County Medical Center. The food was good, and again, I think that's smallness. They're cooking for 15 or so instead of 200. My speech was the first thing to come back from the slurring and inability to say the words that I wanted to, and I believe and I feel that even now my speech is probably close to 90% of what I had before, prior to the stroke. My left hand, specifically from the elbow down, is that being able to go up has only happened in the last couple days. My fingers from left, touching my fingers with my thumb, that has gotten better. My walking is really good. I would say I'm about 50% maybe on my walking with a cane. I'm using a quad cane, but I'm not using a walker. The speech therapy gal, when she came in, she wanted to check. She had like graham crackers and some other things for me to chew on and then swallow. That's a big part of the stroke. And I couldn't do the graham cracker right off the bat. It was just way too dry. And they're more concerned about food getting in the corners of your cheeks, called pocketing. And that occurred, but it only lasted for a day or two, and my speech came back pretty quick. I was reading brochures out loud in my hospital room and practicing, and the speech therapy gal says she didn't have to run me through any therapy paces because my speech had come back so well. I had physical therapy and occupational therapy twice a day, and near the end of my stay, the last couple days, it seemed like all I was doing physical therapy for an hour or two in the morning, physical therapy in the afternoon for an hour or two, and then I was just waiting in my hotel room. My hotel room. That's what it felt like. I was in a hotel. And it felt like I was just waiting in between physical therapy times in my hospital room, where in my hospital room I could not do anything without calling the nurse first because they didn't want me to fall. And near the end, I could have gotten to the bathroom on my own, but I always played by the rules. I did what they said. And when I was released, getting back out into the world and then, working on my own here in the house, I'm, going to be moving. My brother's going to be taking me in because as a self-employed independent contractor with DoorDash and the food deliveries and the Walmart Spark grocery delivery game, my income all of a sudden dropped down to zero. So I'm moving in with my brother for the time being, and he's going to take me in at least for a year as I get back closer and closer to normal. Now, how far am I going to get? I don't know. The girls, the therapy girls, the doctor, the nurses, they won't make any kind of guess because everybody is different with a stroke. I am a hell of a lot further than those that are bedridden, of course, and those that can't talk at all. So I am leaps and bounds ahead of where some people are after an ischemic stroke. So I mentioned I was moving. Just prior to my stroke, just to let you know, my trailer court is undergoing some massive changes. It was a dumpy trailer court, a lot of squatters and people weren't paying their bills. It was sold to another company here in central Iowa that owns a lot of trailer courts, and they have a different set of standards than what the previous owners did. So they've torn out roughly 80 trailers out of 100 to 110 trailers in the trailer court that were abandoned, just complete pieces of crap. And so my trailer is over 50 years old, and they got a hold of me and said, "Hey Dave, we really don't feel your trailer court meets what we're looking to have in our trailer court, so we want to keep you as a renter." And they would do a rent to own on a refurbished trailer, because as they sell trailers, they take the other person's old trailer, bring them into their central area here, which is actually in Nevada, and then rebuild them and then sell them. So as a single guy, I don't need a double wide, just a single wide. So they were going to do a rent to own on a refurb trailer for me, and then basically just demolish mine. Well, then the stroke occurred, so I got a hold of them. They're real easy to work with. I've been here now 2 years with them, total of 30 years altogether, but 2 years with the new owners. And they just have a couple rules: pay your bills on time, play nice with your neighbors, and keep your place, up. But mine is so old, it would stick out like a sore thumb. So I had agreed to that. So anyway, after the stroke, I got a hold of the manager, explained the situation. They're going to really cut me some slack. Once I move out of the trailer here, I just turn the trailer over to them, with the title, and then they're going to demolish it and go on from there. Now, best case scenario is I can come back maybe in a year or so and complete the transaction as we had, kind of discussed. But that's all up in the air. I may go to a, quote, senior citizen home after I get better. But right now, I've got at least 5 years at my brother's place before he retires and then moves to Florida. So, thankfully he's taking me in. He's going to be taking care of my finances. I did apply for Social Security disability with Jill, the financial aid lady at Story County Medical Center, and we've got that in, and it'll take about 4 to 6 months for them to approve it. And then there's a 5-month period where you cannot get any benefits for the first 5 months on disability. Well, for me, that will be the 5 months that it takes to approve my disability request. And if that does happen, then the check should come almost immediately. And then I'll be able to pay off my brother for all the financial aid that he's been given to get me, caught up on bills. I'm caught up on my bills. I paid all my bills, but in the last 3 weeks here now, there's going to be another set of utility bills and water bills and etc. coming that I don't have any income coming in to pay for those. So my brother's going to be taking care of that. once I get approved for disability, hopefully there's not going to be any BS with that they're going to deny it, then I have to appeal it and yada yada yada. So we'll go from there and see how that all takes place. That'll happen in about October. So that's about it for the overview. I am living, quote, on my own here in my trailer until the time that I move to my brother's just a few miles south in Huxley, Iowa. And I'm getting around. I fatigue really easy, about 5 or 10 minutes of quote work or lifting or speaking or anything, and then I have to take a break. I am on medication, of course. I have a little wrist blood pressure cuff that I check it, daily, and I'm sticking right around the 130 range, 130 over 70 or 80 on the blood pressure. So I'm monitoring that. I'm going to physical therapy 2 times a week, and they work me hard, and then I come home and have supper and literally go to bed. And but the physical therapy is working. I see something new every day that I can do specifically with my left hand, and that's progress. I mean, right now, being able to, I can only straighten out my hand about like that, but that's a hell of a lot more than what I could do even just a week ago. I can make a fist. I can almost grasp things. Driving, by the way, is okay because everything's right-handed. The shifter, driving with my right hand and everything, and I reach over and hit the turn signal and all that. So I am driving. I have a full-size SUV Expedition Speedwagon, as you know. He's easy to get in and out of, and I walk with a cane. When I go to the grocery stores, I do jump on the scooter and then run around the store and do my stuff. But I've also got the Walmart Spark now here. I think 1 more month as a Spark delivery driver that I will be able to utilize them picking my orders, and then I go pick them up. I've done that a couple times. So overall, I'm doing okay. I'm doing a hell of a lot better than what other stroke victims are, where they're bedridden or they can't walk or they can't talk. And so I'm blessed that as it has happened, I'm doing pretty good. I've always had a pretty positive, glasses half full, silver lining in the cloud. I'm here. I have to do things. It's called step 1, step 2, step 3. Just get it done. Do it in the order that you're told from the doctors. Do what they say. Do the exercises here at home, and I will get better, and we will continue this series as more stuff occurs. Thank you very much.